Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck me then. I just like the comic conquest. We'll just start off right now. Welcome back to another burp. A
Burp.
burp.
We actually never explained what that was.
That's a breakdown, review, and a prediction for, well, this week is Falcon and Winter Soldier Ep2.
Star Spangled Man.
Pretty good episode.
Pretty good, yeah. Lot of development here, getting things rolling.
A lot of characters this episode. A lot of new characters.
Yeah, got some good ones. So we start off with John Walker. He's coming in. We see him at a high school football locker room.
Which does a pretty big high school football stadium.
Is this pretty big high school football stadium, right? That is correct. And it's that clip that everybody's seen in the trailers, like the only thing we've seen of the U.S. agent from up until this point, and they haven't called him that. They keep calling him Captain America.
Captain America.
But we see that he's quite nervous, and well, yeah, that's understandable. You're the replacement Cap, and that's pretty big shoes.
It's almost, I mean, the end reaction was so, the end reaction towards him was so, like, negative that at the very beginning they start to get you in this point where you kind of start feeling a little bit of, like, sympathy for him because he has to fill these giant shoes that is Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him up until the very end, where I was like,
Yeah.
I don't like you. At first, I thought it was good. So of course, spoilers for the whole episode. But I kind of, if we're talking about Joan right now, it kind of seemed like I felt like they were gonna do like the storyline of where he just got bullied a bunch, and that's what made him snap, and that's how we got to the U.S. agent, like a violent person. But it just seems like he just gets angry, and it's not because he was just bullied relentlessly by Falcon and Bucky, which is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah. And we start to kind of see that temper at the end of the episode, but that's
Yeah, we
for another point.
definitely see that temper that is associated with the U.S. agent, which is kind of one of his big characteristics, which is that he's Captain America. If Captain America was very angry.
Yeah, if he was a little twisted.
Yeah, twisted. So we meet up with John, and we kind of see him on TV. He's doing an interview. He's like, you kind of see him
Doing a
messing
little
around with
Good
the
Morning
shield.
America segment.
Yep, Good Morning America. Disney plugging their own ABC channel. Good on you, I guess. But we get a reaction shot of Bucky still on the floor, very not happy about this. So
He has about the same reaction as Sam.
just kind of disappointment and anger.
I would argue a little more disappointed.
Angry and disappointed at Sam for giving away Captain America's shield. Like, who would do that? Sam. Sam would give it away. So after Bucky finds out the shield has been given away, or sees what has happened to it, he immediately goes to confront Sam and just somehow knows that he's at a military base. That's interesting.
Just
We
happens
find out
to
the Flag Smashers might be part of the Big Three. Cole, fill us in. What's the Big
be
Three?
the big three: aliens, androids, and wizards.
A great little scene.
I love the point where he's like, "I read The Hobbit when it first came out in 1937."
Yep. Such a great detail. And from there, Sam and Bucky go on their very first mission together, which is
Well, I'd argue Sam went on the mission and Bucky kind of just hit
Bucky tagged along. That's quite true. Yeah, so their first mission together, very interesting, very disjointed.
Very no plan.
Yeah.
During the mission, you see that back and forth between Bucky and Sam. I love that dynamic that they have. It's really well done. And, well, of course, Sam jumps out of the plane with the wings, and then Bucky's like, "Where's the parachute?" And you find out he can't jump with the parachute because of how low they're flying. So he decides he's just gonna jump with the vibranium arm.
Yeah, I think it's very much hinted at that he's also a super soldier, even though it's never outright said that he's.
Yeah, yeah. I find myself during this episode kind of forgetting that until he does like these tremendous feats of like jumping out of a plane with no parachute, and he goes toe to toe with some of the flag smashers, who we find out in this episode also are super
Super
that's
serum
cut super.
soldiers, yeah. So it seems that he has some amount of increased strength, not on the level of Captain America, but we clearly saw him doing the Captain America and Black Panther run after the trucks, like an.
That's what I kind of forgot, and I start realizing when he's running 30 miles an hour next to a truck.
But yeah, so their mission against the Flag Smashers, which are, what are they shipping? Like, no, they're medicine.
No, they're shipping vaccines.
Yeah, vaccines and medicine and all that. So they're moving that along, and Bucky totally gets beat up by a little girl, which Sam does not. He doesn't miss the chance to let him know. Yeah, and then from there, the two teams meet, and by teams I refer to John Walker's Captain America and then his partner
Bucky Bucky and Sam seem to be struggling on top of the trucks, and then all of a sudden the shield gets thrown, and then you realize,
oh snap,
Captain America is down.
Yep. John Walker comes down immediately, throws the shield around, and he's doing good. He's doing a couple combos with Bucky and Sam. That's pretty cool. You think, oh man, they're all gonna work together, and then it just goes downhill from there when Hoskins eventually joins in. Lamar Hoskins, which is John Walker's friend from high school, it seems, and his teammate. So we've got John Hoskins and John Walker and Lamar Hoskins on Team Government, and then Sam and Bucky on Team Freelance, I guess.
Freedom, baby.
Freedom. But yeah, we immediately see John pull out a gun and shoot a guy, which, I mean, it's not like Cap hasn't shot at anybody before. He was in World War II, so that's not out of
It was a little surprising, though, when he just whipped it out.
And they all lose eventually. Bucky's thrown off, and Sam has to go and catch him, and then Hoskins is thrown off, and John does a cool save, kind of like in Age of Ultron, I believe, is when something
very Age of Ultron. Yeah.
So gives Lamar a little sled down the road, and then immediately gets kicked off himself. I'm not sure if he's enhanced or not. I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think he is enhanced because the little girl beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I think that's why he also has a gun, is because he doesn't have the super soldier strength that Captain America had to fall back on when he didn't have a shield. So from there, the two teams kind of meet up together. They're taking a nice Jeep ride back, and we learn that Lamar Hoskins is Battlestar. That is a lame name, and it is a character from the comics.
Didn't know that one, I'm gonna be honest.
So a little bit about Battlestar is that he, in the comics, was a friend of John, of the U.S. agent, and he was there at one point. U.S. agent actually asks Lamar and two of his other friends to stage an attack on his debut when the U.S. agent is debuted, kind of similarly to what happens, and they stage this fight, and the U.S. agent comes out on top to us, like, show, I'm great, I'm actually qualified to be here, even though it was completely manufactured, which we might actually see in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I definitely could see them doing a scene like that. There's also, when they're in the Jeep ride, they're talking about how is it possible that there's 8 super soldiers that no one knew about, because the serum hasn't been used in, I think they said, like 70 years or something like that.
70, 80 years, yeah. So that is a good question. Where'd this come from? The last time we saw anything relating to super soldier serum, that was in the Incredible Hulk, and that was with Abomination. Not that anybody remembers that movie, but
with Edward Norton, I think.
Yep, and Thunderbolt Ross, who made his reappearance back in Civil War. So, just to remind you, that movie is canon. So, the two teams do not like each other, and Falcon and Bucky just end up walking away.
Yeah, they walk 20 miles back to the airport.
Which is hilarious that Sam wouldn't just be like, we'll see you there, I'm gonna go get a drink.
Bucky gets off first, then Sam's like, oh, I gotta follow him.
Fine, I guess I'll follow the 106-year-old man. After that, on the flight home, Bucky and Falcon, they're trying to think of anything, of any leads they have, and they kind of come up to the conclusion they don't have much until Bucky was
not much.
A Noah guy, and by Noah guy, he's fought with a guy.
Yeah, we find out we fought with.
Yeah, so which leads into another scene where people probably far more qualified or more qualified than us should discuss more detail.
Definitely more qualified than us.
So we meet Isaiah Bradley, which is in the comics, the technically second Captain America, I believe. But nobody knows about him in the comics and in the MCU.
Yeah, okay. They said Vietnam War that he was created.
Yeah, it's the 50s, pretty much. Which is slightly changed from the comics, in which he actually did meet Captain America and they had fought side by side. Isaiah is Captain America or Patriot or whatever. His grandchild, I believe, becomes either the new Patriot or Patriot in, guess what, the Young Avengers, which Marvel have clearly been, or I don't know clearly, but they're subtly starting up. Yeah, we meet Isaiah Bradley, and it turns out that he is super strong. He's got the super soldier serum, which makes sense. He did in the comics, and he throws a box into a wall, and it sticks in there. Which means if he could get a flat edge, a literal box with no sharp points into a wall with no effort at all, he's very strong.
Yeah, we also find out that he beat Bucky's ass.
Yeah, he ripped off his arm at one point, which is impressive because, as we saw, Black Panther couldn't even scratch the initial arm. Maybe that's because the first one was ripped off by Bradley.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. That he has the arm we see in Winter Soldier is actually probably his second arm.
Second or third arm by that point.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting detail and cool to know.
Hello, hi. This is recorded much after the fact. I'm wearing a different shirt. It's a different location. I want you to know this is completely out of it. Me and Cole talked after this, and we realized we didn't handle this scene very well. We just didn't. And that's because the scene is so well done that it made us uncomfortable. And clearly, we can't relate to it, okay? It's a scene for us to learn. That's what it is. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It's the scene where Bucky and Falcon are fighting in the street in a very clearly less fortunate neighborhood, a poorer neighborhood, and the police come and they start riling up, and they're almost about to arrest Sam until they realize who Sam is. Okay, that's what happens, and it did its job of making us uncomfortable and showed us this clear messaging. Okay, and we didn't handle this properly, and so, yeah. Does that make sense? We mean no offense. We are not against this, messaging or anything. I want that to be very clear. We agree wholeheartedly that this is clearly about the injustice of this particular situation. I'm gonna skip our discussion about it because it wasn't helpful, like I said. So we're just gonna go on to Bucky and and Falcon in the police department, because Bucky then eventually gets arrested because he missed his court-mandated therapy sessions. And
then, okay, so after such a tense scene and dramatic and impactful and powerful and all of those things, we get the amazing dual therapy session. Please, Cole, take it from
Dual
here.
therapy. The soul gaze, as she calls it. So Bucky, after he's arrested, is freed, and we find out it's because of John Walker. John Walker frees him because he says he's a well-needed asset, which, take what you want from that. And then Bucky's therapist comes in and says, well, we need to finish what we started, kind of like you have to get these sessions in. And then she invites Sam to come along, which is always fun.
She orders Sam. She doesn't invite him. She orders him.
And when we're in there, they do a couple like group therapy, couples therapy, I think she said.
Yeah,
couples therapy thing. And so they obviously don't talk very much. And then her last resort is these soul gaze, where they have to face each other and get closer together.
They literally interlock knees. I'm not going to use my hands for that.
Yeah, very comedic scene. And it's revealed that Bucky is so upset that Sam gave up the shield because if Steve was wrong about Sam not being worthy of Captain America's shield, that kind of makes Steve's evaluation of Bucky also wrong. And I think he feels a lot of guilt for what he's done over the years.
And then the two are like, let's get to work. And then split ways for eternity. And we all know they're going to become best buds. Or at least co-workers by the end of this.
And the ending of is it the ending of the episode, this last scene? I forget.
No, then we get we kind of talked about this earlier, but then Sam and Bucky go outside and they're talking again with Captain America. I just keep calling him the U.S. agent.
And Hoskins.
Yeah, they talk with John and Hoskins, and that's where we kind of see like they very much Falcon and Sam and Bucky don't want to work with these two at all.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're free agents. You guys have all of these regulations and stuff that you need before you can do anything.
But yeah, it starts with John inviting them to join their mission because it's going to be a lot easier to work together. And I think because Bucky has the super soldier serum, I think John might be a little scared. And it really starts to build the tension between these two about like what's going to happen. And we'll talk about this. But the tension starts to build and they just decide to dip. Like, we'll just work on our own. We don't even want to try to work with you guys.
Yeah, and so the feud between the government issued Captain America and the Chosen One begins. We see the short temper that we mentioned before. He's just like, stay out of my way. And Bucky and Sam are like...
You see this, like it's a quick switch from when he's nice and inviting them to get the fuck out of my way.
Oh yeah, it's like a red flag. It's just like he stubs his toe, he just becomes a whole different person.
So at the end of the episode, Bucky and Sam are walking away, and Bucky's like, if we're not working with the government, the person we have to work with, Hydra. And Sam's reluctant at first, but then he realizes that Bucky is talking about the one and only Zemo.
Because Zemo. And they go to Zemo because Zemo knows all the secrets.
Yeah, Zemo knows all the Hydra secrets. And actually, when Bucky said, I have someone I think we should meet with, I thought that was going to be Zemo.
Yeah, I thought
that was not.
And, I mean, we also kind of glossed over some Flag Smasher stuff, but that, I mean, it's so small, so inconsequential at this point. But yeah, I kind
The
of
characters aren't really developed.
Yeah, they're not being, the Flag Smashers aren't like a main focus quite yet. They're shown to be like a threat, but they're not like the threat at the moment. I mean, I kind of thought at one point, what's her name? Carly Morgenthau. Carly Morgenthau. It's spelled really oddly, but she gets a text that says, "You stole from me. I will kill all of you." I kind of thought that was Zemo. I kind of still think it's Zemo, and I think that Zemo is not actually stuck in prison. Like, he could leave if he wanted to.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was thinking it's very Wilson Fisk from Daredevil, where he might be like secretly have some control while he's in prison. All right, so we'll get into the
review. Good stuff. I liked it much more than the last episode, which we had put at around like a 7.5. So
yeah, 7.5. This episode was, I felt like, a lot better pace, and we just kept moving from thing to thing. Where I felt in the last episode we might have taken a break and we would have dealt with a little comedy or something. It just kept moving with the plot points. It got very straight to the point often. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was really good.
Starting to get into its stride. If I just had to put it on a rating here, I'm kind of rushing through this segment. I mean, it's not much, but I'd give it like an 8.
Yeah, 8. I mean, I think it makes sense, an 8. I think the fight scenes were great this episode also. And it really kind of displayed the power of it really established the power of the Flag Smashers really well, because they just whoop these heroes' ass that we hold so highly.
Yeah, we know how powerful Sam is. He's gone toe-to-toe with monsters, aliens. We see it in Endgame, and we see it with Bucky too, that we know how strong they are. So to see them getting like thrown around like literal ragdolls is like, oh man, these guys are powerful. They're competent and powerful. And then, I mean, I guess we kind of see with John Walker too, that he can throw the shield quite well. The shield, like, it's they're normal hands. I feel like if you chuck a vibranium shield and it's coming back to you at Mach 6 and you grab it, your hands are just gonna like snap.
Also, does Walker have fingerless gloves, or does he have just full padded gloves?
He's got the fingerless gloves. So yeah, good episode. Predictions.
I really can't wait to see Zemo. Zemo's maybe one of my favorite villains because he's so
intelligent,
brutal, and real. Yeah.
I guess this kind of relays. Last episode we talked a lot about the military guy that we didn't know his name. His name is Torres. I didn't get his first name. I'm so sorry, Torres, but that doesn't matter. I googled it. Torres actually becomes the Falcon after Sam takes up the mantle of Captain America.
Oh, really?
So,
big prediction.
Why introduce Torres if Sam doesn't become Captain America?
I really hope we see. I think we might see a Zemo team up with Bucky and Sam to take down U.S. Agent,
and then immediately turn on each other.
Yeah, then immediately turn on each other. I think that's probably how Sam will get the shield back, and we'll see that training scene that we saw like one of the trailers of him and Bucky kind of teaming up. So I think that U.S. Agent might. The series is only 6 episodes, so
yeah, it's much shorter than WandaVision was.
So I think maybe by like episode 4 we might see a Zemo U.S. Agent team, or no, sorry,
opposite
Zemo. Yeah, Zemo defeating U.S. Agent with Sam and Bucky. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So
I also just want to see a fight scene of them passing the shield again, because that might be one of the coolest fights in Civil War, is when they're just beating Iron Man.
I'd love to see another combo of like everybody's just using the shield though. Like you're like, who actually has the shield? But everybody's doing combos on each other, and you're just like, I don't know, but this is great. And any last words?
I don't have really much to add except there's a garbage truck coming by my house.
Oh, we love it. We love it. It's
Yep,
a good
we love
episode. Tune in, especially next week, where we'll be going over episode 3. I don't know the title, or else I would tell you it. But yeah, so we're kind of planning on doing some, just kind of idea for
Some
the
videos
future.
coming.
Yeah, there's some. We've got some more video ideas instead of just Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So yeah, we've got stuff not planned, but we've got ideas.
In the works.
Yeah, we've got nothing planned. We've got ideas though. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope this was enjoyable.